live. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is Leah Ryan and Loft Manager Richard from Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario. Episode 4, Breeding 101. We're back. Sorry, guys. We had a busy week. Take it away, Ryan.
Busy week. Yes, we were in the United States shipping out birds, auction birds, quarantine birds, doing it all. We wanted to come back on and do another show, but time did not allow us, so we're going to squeeze one in today. If you guys like what you're seeing, please go to our YouTube channel, Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions. Hit that subscribe link down at the bottom below. Like it, love it, hate it, I don't care. Just hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep going.
We're going to give a shout out to Owen. Owen is in the house. Thanks for tuning in, Owen. I guess we could start off with Owen, because Owen had a question last week, and the question was with regards to letting pigeons out in the winter months.
Ooh, Owen, very dangerous. Letting pigeons out in the winter months. Now, what do I think of this? I would think if you had pigeons that were out all year, like you start letting them out in the spring and they loft fly every day, and they're learning they got the condition up, the bodies are good, they're flying, exercising. You could take them into the winter and keep letting them out. Again, you're still going to lose birds to hawks, but you have to adjust the feeding. So when you let them out, they'll go for their fly. When you put your dropper out or you give them a call, they'll hit the board and come right in. But I think for just letting out pigeons, because I've had them locked up for 3 weeks, and today's a nice sunny day, it's +2, and I have a little itch that I want to see pigeons out on my board. I think what you're doing is you're bringing the devil, aka the hawks, to your place, to your door, and they are going to be picking cherries from a tree, because by this time the hawk has less food to eat. His body weight's down, he's dialed in and ready to eat, and you're lackadaisical, out enjoying the sunshine on them pigeons that are overweighted. They don't know what's coming, and as we say, good night, Charlie, correct, Ricky?
If I could say something, basically, when you put your birds out, he's been watching your loft, and especially if you have an aviary where they go out, it's almost like teasing them.
Yeah.
Okay? And then all of a sudden you let your birds out, like Ryan said, because it's a nice day and you feel good. You
get the itch. You get the itch. It's not the pigeons, it's you.
And he's going, oh, thank you for putting that bird feeder out for me.
Yes.
That hawk feeder. That's a hawk feeder.
That's correct.
And like Ryan said, if you let them out every day, all year round, you better have those darn things sharp, because they're going to go out, and soon they go out, they better go up, and they better fly, and then you'll watch them and you'll see when they're ready to come down, and you better give that signal. They better know it.
Yeah.
In other words, with a dropper or whistle or whatever, but they better, soon that signal comes, they better be on that board, and they better be in within 2 seconds. And a lot of times this hawk, he knows, he will start to study your system.
No, he knows.
Yeah.
He watches you go to feed the birds. Yeah. He knows they become so hungry that they just study. I mean, and again, sorry to cut you off, Dad. But we have a big, large aviary. And we can show it one day. Leah, maybe we'll do a little recording. On the big aviary, she's 20 by 20. The stock birds can go out there. And the hawk, he loves it, eh? You'll see him crawling on there and dancing on there. And he tries to hit him in there. And then they'll all go in and they'll stay in for a while. Then they come back out when they feel he is gone. The pigeons know the hawk. If you are going to open up your pigeons all winter long, you better make sure the hawk can't get into your loft. But if you allow those pigeons to study the hawk system, and the hawk can't get into your loft, they will go out when they know themselves when it's time to go out. You're still going to lose birds, We've had pigeons that we've had open hole for the winter. They have done tremendous. But what happens is, in the middle days of January and February, when the hawk is at his very most hungriest, there's no food around, and they see them going out the hole in the loft, the hawk then turns up the heat a little bit more, and your hawk trap becomes your pigeon loft, and you'll find him in your loft. That's the best hawk trap I've ever seen. I've seen people with cages and all that shit. The best one is your loft. They go right in like nothing.
You got to shoot open.
You got to shoot open, they go in. So I don't recommend, Owen.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even let them out. I know it's tempting.
And it's nice. It's warm. The sun's out. You're feeling good. Maybe you're even in your t-shirt. It's a nice warm day. But what you're doing is setting the hawk up to win.
I'll tell you, I had a situation a couple weeks ago where I had birds out in a basket on the patio.
Mm-hmm.
And I come up, the darn hawk was sitting right on the basket,
Mm-hmm.
thinking he could grab the bird right through the basket. So you're playing around with this guy's a sharpshooter.
Loaded gun. Hungry loaded gun.
He's a loaded gun, and I wouldn't even play around with it. I don't know how guys do it in Florida. They got them down there all year round. They're vicious, right?
Well, they learn this. They learn the systems. The birds go out. The birds come in. I'm sure there's times of the year where they can have them out. But I know being down there, the number one thing is the only thing they use is a gun, right? But there's so many of them, you can't stop it. It doesn't stop.
But, you know, I'm interested to hear from the audience, and guys, post your comments below. How many of you guys let your birds out in the wintertime? Do you, or do you just put them in an aviary type situation? Do you guys have maybe tips or tricks to keep the hawk at bay during the winter months? Because we know it is tempting to let the birds out when you get a nice day, a sunny day. You feel bad for them. They're cooped up in there. But I think, honestly, it's to their safety, to their benefit to keep them in, right?
Yeah, you know, I spoke with Dean Pallett from England, from the UK, and he said with his widowhood cocks, he would let them out all winter, open hole, let them go. And he said you did lose some to hawks. And he said the big thing was being able to keep the hawk from coming into your loft. That's the trick. Because the hawk, what he does is he studies it. And if you see in barns, I've seen it a few times, the pigeons live in the barn. But you'll see the pigeons come out and they got to go live. After a while, you don't see the hawk hitting the pigeons outside anymore because the pigeons become as fast as the hawk. But what you do see is you go on the top of the barn and you look, and the hawk's hunting them in the barn. And I know Dean...
He'll be in the barn.
He'll be in the barn. And Dean had said to me, you have to be able to make sure that the hawk can't come in, but they can go out and they can come in. And they will learn his schedule. And he says the real dummies, they get hit. But once they learn the schedule, and he does it right when the races end, the widowhooders go open hole, and open hole for new guys. That means your hole is open, the birds can go out and play all day, up and down, you know, graze, do what they want.
So I'm going to ask the question.
Mm-hmm. How do you stop them?
No. I mean, what benefit is it really of having them out loft flying in the winter on a nice day? Wait. I would sooner, I learned to just keep them in and put them on a proper feeding program to keep the weight proper.
Now, again, speaking with, and I'll use Dean's name.
Right.
I think he was a master flyer, and he was right. If you can keep them open hole, okay, if you can do it and not let the hawk win, I don't care what feeding method you're going to do. When it comes time to the first old bird race, and your birds have been out all winter, nobody's going to touch you in conditioning. Because you can't, you're going to put birds in condition in 3 weeks, or birds that have been in condition all winter. The condition level,
I know.
You know what I mean. You know,
let me just get to the comments, because we have some great comments here that I just want to add. Frank,
great question, Owen.
Frank Eichhorn says his have been locked up since the last race. Mike Vandriak says it depends how open the country is around your loft. Trees close, hard to defend. Loft in a field, less problems.
Very true.
100%.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very, very true.
Yeah.
That's there. I mean, again, if we had a property, even where we live here, we're embedded in a forest.
Right.
I have seen lofts. I've seen lofts out in the middle of fields where they've got 30 acres before there's any trees around, and the pigeons normally win. The hawk can't get to them, and that's what I mean. They see the hawk prior, but again, I've seen in those lofts. I've done it myself. The only thing is, they know when to come. The pigeons can come out. They learn the hawk system. They know when to stay in. But if the pigeons don't come out and the hawk crawls on the board and he looks in the hole, he gets so damn hungry he goes in. So
he goes in.
And
so I'll tell you, like Mike said, a loft that's in the middle of a field
is the best.
Is the best. And what should I say? When the pigeons can get up high, this hawk we're talking about, okay? I don't know what they call them, Coopers, Sharpshins, or whatever they call them. Those things, they don't hunt falling down. They hunt across the land, maybe 50 feet or 20 feet off the ground, and they just zip in.
And you know how they really like to hunt? They like to sit in a tree, I believe it, and they like to study. And they like to look.
They're
They go, okay,
stalkers. They're stalkers.
Yeah, they're a stalker. Oh, look at the birds just went out. Wait a minute, I know every day at 2 o'clock this guy comes and lets the birds out. He goes down to the loft. He goes, come on, guys. And you know what, Leah? When we let the birds out in the one loft race, what do? Come on, bup, 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 bup. That's the sound, right?
Right.
That's the feed sound for the hawk.
Yeah.
So when you go out there every day at 2 o'clock.
The sound. Yeah, the hawk learns
and you
the sound.
Bup, 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 bup. The hawk knows, or whatever you do a whistle, or you play some music, or you sing to yourself, or you're whatever. He's watching you, and he goes, oh, every day at 2 o'clock or 2 to 3 o'clock, those birds go out. He sits, he waits, he hunts off the start. Now the birds go up maybe, and they're flying, they're doing good. He ain't hunting then. He's waiting for the energy to come down and the birds to come down and go. Then he goes again.
I know in the early part, let's say of the first old bird race, it happened to me. It was the first week of May or the last week of April. I'm not lying. Waiting for the race bird. The bird came from the race, bang, on the board like a bullet. Just didn't circle, nothing. Just soon that pigeon hit the board. Bang.
Right on him. You didn't see where he was coming. He's only coming from 30, 40 feet away up in a little shrub, which you don't see. He just falls out of it. Boom. Again, we imported golden eagles.
Right.
Okay? I'll tell you, you want to feed something scary. Once they know you're bringing the food in and they hear your truck pull up to the quarantine and you open the door and you shut it, their feet just start to dance on the perch. You walk in, their eyes never leave you. They're focused, they stalk. It's you want to feed something, feed a golden eagle, and is it scary?
Well, yeah, they know when you're coming in.
Maybe on the next show I'll get that video where you were
feeding.
We have that video of you feeding the golden eagle, and we'll just show everybody.
I'm going to go back to what Ryan said about.
I got lots of comments, so just
hold on. Let's throw some comments in. Let's not worry about Dean.
Keep that in mind. Okay, Chris Withers says it's the peregrine falcon in the UK that's causing stress, and they are protected. Ricky Cruz says mine are in the breeding coop with an aviary, and I do have 2 hawks that are always watching from a tree beside the loft. By spring, will the hawks leave, or do they stay knowing there's food?
So where is Ricky from? What
Ricky's
area?
from Hamilton. So Ricky, just like
he's in the Niagara area.
Just like us. And again, we're on the East Coast here for people. We're not in England, but we appreciate you for tuning in. That's good. And that's the same hawk we have. We have those as well. That's a falcon.
This man here is talking a falcon.
A falcon.
Falcons.
We have very few of those. We have very few of those. We have the
Sharpshin or
Cooper's hawks, and they stalk more from the trees. They're not a red tail. Red tails are a little bit slow until they get real hungry. But getting back to Ricky's question, we have the aviary. The hawks sit on the aviary, but we found here in about what would you say, the middle of April?
From the middle of April till the middle of September. You're
Okay.
starting the middle of April, you can let them out, you know, and you might get a little bit of trouble, but by the end of April, he's usually gone.
And
Okay.
gone means he's not gone. He hasn't forgotten you. He's stocked. He still looks. He still
He
watches.
goes
But
somewhere
there's
else.
just so much food. I believe there's so much
Well,
food.
the robins are coming back.
Right. Mother Nature's kicking into season to breed.
Yep.
And that's what it is.
And getting back to the fellow from England, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you're talking
Chris.
about Dean Pallett in England. Last year, you and I went to Belgium
Mm-hmm.
in February.
Mhm.
I mean, you could have cut the grass there.
We were in a
Right.
T-shirt.
Okay, right. And we talked to those fellas there, and the hawks over there, they don't have the same starvation. Like here, we get the snow. We, you know, birds take off. They
Mhm.
migrate. I don't know what it is there, but we were there in February and visit one fella, and we looked out, and there's, oh, I see birds lot flying over there. They were really lot flying, like really. He said, oh yeah, that's so and so.
Yeah,
I
Verdun,
know,
Bart
yeah,
Verdun.
yeah,
We're at the
right,
Verdans.
right.
Yeah.
And would you let your young ones out? And same as when we went to Annex Gautien's place.
Yeah, and I go
Yeah,
to you.
she had in February, she had beautiful young ones.
Yeah.
And she was letting them out on the board. She's not worried. But here in our country,
Oh, it
if
wouldn't
I
happen.
have young ones in February that are beautiful, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
hatched them the end of December, and now they're nice and everything. If I put my birds out on the board here in February, you know, they haven't been flying yet. So they're going out to look around. I call it mosquito. They do this little mosquito up and down. Well, that hawk,
That's cherry picking.
yeah, soon he goes through that group.
Boom.
If
And
there's
what-
40 birds
and-
on the board,
and
you're
what
gonna lose
happens?
15 right off the board.
And how do you lose the birds? It's simple. They're strong enough to mosquito up to maybe your house roof. They're mosquitoing enough. They got power, but they don't know what's going on.
They don't
He
have-
goes through them, and the next thing you know, you got one sitting on the wire. You got one over at the neighbors. 2 days out, they're too stupid to come back. They go down to the next barn.
You've got one 10 kilometers away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they
Just-
got enough to get. Once they get up and they get the shit scared through them,
they haven't got enough brains.
to figure it out back.
And part about getting the brains in you is learning to mosquito, I call it, then learning to loft fly for 20 minutes to an hour and a half.
Mhm.
That's where they're generating the grounding, their brains are setting in. But soon you put them out. If you put them out, young ones like that, you might as well put out stock birds
Yeah,
that you bought from
wherever.
wherever.
You're just feeding the devil. And again, that's why you'll see with our one loft race, you will not see birds starting to go out. I don't care when we get them in. They won't start going out till about the first week of May, second week of May. And you know what? It's a feeling we have as well. If the first week of May, it looks like it's going to snow and it's gray and it's dark and it's shitty, we say, hey, today looks like a what? A hot day, eh? We don't let them out. We take a day off.
So getting back to Owen's question, Owen, I know how you love to watch your birds out and fly around and enjoy life in the sun, but from now till the middle of April, don't let them out. And another thing, it's really, to have an aviary outside for your birds is really not the best thing to do. Because what you're doing is advertising your feed,
Right.
and he just goes nuts.
Now, hold on.
Right.
I will say, but because we do have a big aviary, and we sit inside, we have lunch, and we look out at the aviary, the big, beautiful aviary. Beautiful, eh? Not one pigeon's out in the aviary. We both say while we're eating our sandwich, oh, the hawk must be around. We don't scare the birds out. We don't put the birds out in the aviary. We hold them into the aviary. The window is open. The pigeons can go into the aviary when they feel it is time. And you know what? We don't push them out, shut the aviary and say, you bastards, you sit out there now and get a bath. No. You can go out and in whenever you want. And they learned the open hole system of the aviary. Am I right?
Yeah, the thing is,
Right.
the birds will learn. I don't know if you've heard a blue jay.
Yep,
We
they
have
learn the
blue
calls.
jays here. The blue jays make that little, whatever that sound is. The crows
Yeah.
will start. They caw. They're giving a warning. The crow calls to the blue jay. The blue jay calls to the squirrels, whatever is around.
That's right.
And your birds learn that. And
Listen,
If my birds are out there and I hear a call, like I learned to identify blue jays, crows, I just go.
We've talked about it. Sometimes you'll hear a blue jay hollering, making his call, a lot of noise, and a crow. All of a sudden, bang! A hawk hits your pigeon. So we've picked up on that.
Picked up, and if
And a pigeon picks up on it. He's not
Soon
stupid.
I hear that, I go, the hawk's call, scare. Once I do that, my birds could be out. Let's say if I don't let them out in the wintertime,
Yeah,
but
but
I'm saying if I hear this and maybe
you get into September, whatever. Yes,
my birds right away stand up. Wake up, boys.
it's time to go. That's right.
It's time to.
Yeah.
There's trouble.
And another thing you'll also notice for new guys, your pigeons can be sitting out on the landing board, sitting there laying on the butts of their wings, sleeping, feeling good. All of a sudden you'll see them. They'll stand up. They'll just look up. And they're all standing in attention. All on the spots where they're sitting,
Yep.
they stand up and they're just looking. They're looking because the devil's there. And they're on guard. It could be a red tail. It could be one of those big, what are those black big things there? The vultures.
Yeah,
It could be a
vulture.
fish hawk going over. But they'll come to attention and they watch. And when you see those other hawks, the blue jays still do the same calls. You see it. But remember, as a pigeon man, you can read all this shit in books. You have to use your eyes and your ears and your nose, and you look and you study things. And Mother Nature will tell you things, but you have to wake up. And you can't read that in a book. Watch the pigeons. Look at when the pigeons come to attention. Why are they coming to attention? Oh, look at, there's a red tail.
Now on that, I'm just getting to the comments here. Thanks guys for the participation. Here we have Mike Vanderyak. He says that he flies his every day. They go out and fly, and when they get home, I'm standing by the board, and they land and go right in. And so far, he hasn't had any problems.
Very good.
That's great.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what we're saying. If you're sorry, I'm opening up. I'm a Pepsi here, but that's what we're saying. Mike's got them on a system. And you know what? In February, we're not saying Mike hasn't lost any yet, eh? The hawk, the screws haven't got a little bit tighter.
Yeah, but Mike has them on a good system.
He's got them on a good system.
And Mike watches.
Yep.
And soon those birds,
Are
I'd like
ready.
to know, does Mike call them down or because that the vital time is when pigeons are landing
Or going up.
or first coming out in the board and taking off. So it's once they come down to land, how does Mike get them to? Because I don't fly them in the winter. I love to fly them.
We would.
How does he get them to? He watches them, and soon they're ready to land. He shakes the can or whistles, and they're down.
Yeah, he may do something to get them down, and he's got a system that's working. You know what's going to be great, Mike? You've got them out now. We're going to keep doing these shows into January and February and March, and every once in a while I may throw out a question. Mike, have you lost any yet?
Okay, so let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
I know that Mike has had pigeons for years,
Mm-hmm.
so he's not a first timer.
Nope.
Now I know he lived up near Barrie or Aurelia at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So this practice, did he practice this? Now he lives down by Fort Erie somewhere.
Right. Yep.
On Lake Erie.
Yep.
Okay. So did he do this practice even up in Aurelia where it's wilder? I don't know if the hawks are different up there than they are down here.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good question. And again, you've asked him that question. Again,
I'm going to ask him. I just asked
you
him.
just
So
did.
you asked
Yeah,
him,
here-
and we'll
okay,
wait
right.
for his response. We have a little bit of a delay here, but Frank Eichhorn, and this is, I think, the last comment on letting birds in or out. Frank Eichhorn said, "My birds are out in the aviary, but it is covered with a kind of plexiglass that lets the sun shine in and warms up the loft, but you can't see in the loft." And you've seen it, the setup, Ryan. Maybe next time when you go to visit Frank, maybe you know what? How about you do a little video, and we can share Frank's setup with the audience.
Now, here is a great thing, and I've been to lofts in Europe. Been to lofts in Europe, and they use what they call a frosted plastic, like what Frank has, or frosted glass. and they normally use those in bathrooms, so you get light in and you can't see in.
That's right.
And what's great is, and I seen this at Mike Gannis's.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna take. I seen it in his widowhood loft.
Right.
He had these those panels.
Right.
And what the best part was he said the hawks cannot bother the pigeons. They can go sit on the window ledge. They can get the sunlight in. They can lay out on the ledge, and the pigeons don't get bothered. And you want to know what? It's very smart. The pigeons can look out, but what do they see? They see the sun is just frosted.
Okay, the question I'm going to
Mhm.
ask is that paneling. So how close to that? Because I'm looking at airflow.
Okay, well,
Okay,
you
so that's
can, you
very
can,
important.
no. I've seen it at Frank's. There's a gap where air can come in. You can set the paneling off this
Okay.
far off,
Yeah.
so the air's moving,
Right.
but the hawk can't see in or out. The birds only see the panel, right? But the light's coming in. The hawk can't see there's even pigeons in it.
Okay, so Frank doesn't let his birds out.
No,
Right.
but he has them in an aviary. He's got the panels over the aviary. There's a nice gap so air can come through. And he's got the wire bottom on the aviary, so the air is breathing in there. I think that's a great idea.
So what
Sounds
we're going to
good.
do, Ryan, is, and hopefully if Frank agrees to it, if you could just shoot next time you're down there a short video so we could show everybody Frank's setup, how he has his setup. Mike Vandriak, in answer to your question, Richard said that I had no hawk trouble in Aurelia, but down where he is now, they are a constant pressure. So,
Oh, wow.
See, we were
so he's
We-
brave. You're brave.
Mike, we were reversing that one, but that's okay. And I know even Ian and Rick Fife, they have their birds out more down there. I mean, Rick's more in the open.
Well, I know we went down there last year to Ian's place. I think it was March or something.
Well, he had the young birds out over an hour.
Yeah, he had young birds flying like crazy, and I'm going, out here we can't do it. I remember a few years ago, we're going to start getting our old birds exercising, the end of March, the
Yeah.
first week of April.
We lost a champion bird in the combine the second day out.
I'll tell you something.
Unbelievable.
Those old birds would not go outside. You opened up the chute to say, come on, get out there. You had to almost beat them with a stick. They went out on that board, and within 2 seconds, they were just
And they gave you that look too, the look at you like you
please-
son of a bitch.
like, please, Dad, don't
do
put
it.
me outside. You know what I mean? It's like, I
Yeah.
remember years ago, I'm going to go back to something different. My dad bought a rooster,
Mm-hmm.
and I was about 8 years old.
Leah, he's taking the show
I'm gonna
now.
go
Here
back,
we go.
I got lots of comments and questions, so
Okay,
Move
so
along.
anyways,
Make her quick.
the rooster was running around the yard, and this was one of those great big roosters,
Right.
And he knew that I was 8-year-old kid. I was afraid of him. And
Little Ricky.
going out to play, and rooster chased me in the house, and then I looked out and I run out, and the rooster
Would keep chasing you.
kept looking at. Yeah, my mother said to me, "Look, you're either in or you're out."
So out you went.
Oh God.
You went out?
Yeah, no, but then I had to,
You had to go to the
I had
bathroom.
and not just pee behind the tree, if you know what I'm saying.
Basically, he got stuck out, and I'll make this long story
I
short.
can still remember. And my old
You
birds.
shit your pants.
Yeah, I'm just remembering my old birds that year.
Mm-hmm.
What I just brought in my mind. That was the same. They wouldn't go out. Remember?
Shit your pants.
Yeah. So we had to just put them in a basket.
We
They
tried
wouldn't
something.
laugh.
We tried something different, and that worked not bad. But Leo, okay, go with your comments.
okay. So this is an interesting thing that I've also seen on Facebook. People doing. Eldon has a question, and he said, "I've seen people color their birds in a similar color to that of a hawk to scare them off. What's your opinions on this?"
Okay, great idea. I don't know how much. Okay, they say that hawks. This is a funny thing. I remember I'm not a scientist, whatever shit that I've heard. Hawks don't like white. White screws them up. Okay, they say the flapping of the white, whatever, and you'll see on all the pigeons' backs except for normally blacks. There's a white patch on the back.
There's that.
I wouldn't get into drawing colors and stuff. You know,
I've heard that some fellas draw
a face
on the back
Yeah,
of the hawk.
this is what he said.
They'll draw
On the
they'll
pigeon.
draw like a hawk's
Or
eyes.
they draw eyes on the back
On
of
the back-
pigeons.
yeah, the birds. I don't know if
You know what I think
I
you're
read
doing?
an article one time. Some fellow wrote that, let's say, checkers with a couple white flights, or blue bar
With white
flights.
Yeah. Or gay pies.
Gay pies. The fellow wrote that the Hawks won't pick them off first because there's something with the white flights.
It screws them up.
That it you know what? But I don't know if I can believe that.
Well, and again, I still say people that say that whites and reds and stuff get hit by hawks quicker. It's like a lion hunting a zebra, a whole pack of zebras. The zebras are all the same. I don't think there's the hawk will always go for the one that breaks, the weak one. There's a fault in the pigeon, and he hunts
let's
it.
ask the question. This fella that mentioned this,
Has he tried it?
yeah, has he proved it? And
No, I think he was just asking for your opinion on it because.
yeah, I don't know if I would try that.
Yeah, it would be a fun. It would really be a fun experiment. I mean, to take 40 pigeons and let them out every day and play around and see the ones with the drawings on them. Leah, do you have the time? Are you willing to take this experiment on?
No, unfortunately, I don't have the time. But if there's anybody else out there who perhaps has tried this practice and has tried to put the coloring in the pigeons, let us know. Did it help you? Did it work?
I don't know.
We don't know.
If I can mention something, a couple 3 weeks ago, I went in the section, and my pigeons, if they're in the pail, when I go in with the feed, that's the way I like them.
Right.
I like to feed them. I like to be able to pick them up.
We're going to show people that too.
All this
We're
stuff.
going to do a video on that.
But I had a situation where sometimes I open the door and I walk right into the section. I open the door up and they're just like, holy jumping. I got to watch out when I walk in because they're just so happy to see me. And
they're
all
excited.
Yeah,
and you get one that goes out over your head.
So I had a situation. My birds haven't been out since the end of September.
Okay.
Right?
Making sure you're on the same story. Go
No,
ahead.
yeah. And I opened the door up.
And out he went.
This hen bird, she went up on the roof of
The loft.
The loft. And I went, oh, Jesus, okay. I went in, I opened the chute up so she can come in, right? Put some feed down.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get the water, change the water, was frozen, I went out. I said, where in the heck is she? She went up on the roof. The roof's covered in snow.
Yep.
I walked around the corner from the loft. The hawk
Had hit her.
done.
Because
It was just like you if you tried it,
It wouldn't have.
it's like I want to feed a hawk. Like I'm just joking.
I'm going to do a video
I'll
and
take
feed
a
the hawk
bird,
right now.
I'll just
Yeah.
throw the bird out. Like the hawk didn't even know
No.
this was
No.
going to happen.
No.
I just
Hold on.
the bird
Hold
went
on.
up. Bang.
You want to know what the hawk knows? He's studying you, right?
Yeah.
He says, how many times can he open that door and not one of the 60
Come out.
come out? And you know what? If I watch him every day, and I know, Richard, you're very much on the same time frame, right?
Yeah.
You're within an hour every day.
Yeah.
Eventually, he will get one. And what happened on that day? Out of the 90 days or 120 days of winter, that might happen once or twice to you, and that's when he wins.
And if I
They
can
study. They study.
We're getting back into. I'm saying my system to be a racing pigeon person or with your birds. Try and keep everything on a system. If you're going to do it every day at 8 o'clock, feeding or letting them out, or 6 in the morning or 10 o'clock, do it every day on the same system. If you're going to feed them at 10, you're going to feed them again at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Keep that system. Don't make it one day 8 o'clock, one day 12 o'clock, one day 2 o'clock, one day, I know top-notch pigeon men. They leave a wedding
To feed a pigeon.
to feed their pigeons on the same program. Those guys
Now,
keep the
and
pigeons
again,
on a
and
program.
Again, when we talk about this,
So we're talking about the hawk. The hawk knows your program. You
That's
can't keep changing it because it's not
Well,
good
yeah.
for your birds.
The hawk knows your system. You're on a good system, aren't you? Okay, Leah, get to those comments.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the hawk because we've been a half hour on it. So we're gonna.
Hawks
move
are
on.
done, Owen. You win. Good.
Oh, and don't let your birds out.
Run for the hills. You know what, Owen? Put a pigeon costume on and run around your yard.
You know
See
what?
happens.
all us pigeon men are like this.
Okay, we got to get off
I
this.
got too many birds. I got too many birds. Oh my goodness, I got too many birds. I got 10, too many, 5 too many. You know what? It's a nice day. I'm going to let him out for a loft fly. And then all of a sudden a hawk picks one off. It can be your ugliest looking bird. But you go, he took that bird. Even though you got too many.
Yep.
Right? And the next time, you let him out, he picks another one off. Your ugliest looking bird. Meanwhile, you should have got rid of him, whatever you should have done. But then you go, guess what? I'm not going to feed him.
Okay. We're moving on, Owen.
Okay, we're moving on to and this is also going to be the last time we discuss wrapping nest bowls in newspaper.
Okay.
I think on our first broadcast, our first episode, Ryan showed a way that he saw how to wrap nest bowls in newspaper. Now that's the first way.
Okay.
And because Ryan just pulled it up on YouTube, how to wrap nest bowls, because it's not something that we personally normally do. So we showed that way, and we had a very nice gentleman. His name is Phil Stevens from the UK. He has been a pigeon fancier in the UK for many, 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 many years. And he kindly took the time to show us how to do it the proper way.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Well, the way that Phil thinks is the
Right.
best way. Why
Right.
and why? And let's say, why is that? And now we figured out why.
Well, best way or not, you know what? Type in on your Googles, everybody, when you're done this show, besides Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions, hit that subscribe button. After that, I want you to type in chocolate cake. I want you to type it in. And I want you to see how many recipes. Man, there's a ton. And I want you to type up wrapping Christmas gifts. Man, there's a ton. This is another way to wrap a bowl. Now, we've never done any of this bowl wrapping stuff in our lives. We're going to put a few of these out, and this one's going to go out. It's going to go out in the loft. This is another way to wrap it. Now, Leah, before we talk about it, do you want to play that? I think it's about a 1.5 minute video. We'll just be quiet.
Okay, so I'm going to play the video because just before the broadcast, Ryan wanted to see how difficult or easy it is to do it this way. And we shot a little video to show you, which I'm going to play right now. Here we go. Ooh.
Hey, we're going to show you a second way. That's right, a
You
second
guys are in
way
the other camera.
to wrap a nest bowl or even a Christmas gift. Many ways you can do it. This is the second way. Pick which way you like. Pick which way works best for you. Or don't do it at all. It's totally up to you. Here's another way to wrap a nest bowl. Take your nest bowl, okay? Sheet of newspaper. I'm gonna put it one way. Sheet of newspaper, I'm gonna put it the other way. I'm gonna take the other nest bowl, I guess set it in on top, fold it around. Okay, you can fold it around. And again, I guess what you want to do is sort of get your nest bowl. Here's the thing. You want to make sure when you put this in that maybe your newspaper's a bit bigger. Put it in, fold it around. Okay. Take your tape. Again. Lots of ways to wrap a Christmas gift, ladies and gentlemen. You use the bowl to hold the paper on. Okay. There you go, pop it out. If you want. One more time. That's just the tape I had. You can use painter's tape like this. Now apparently this way keeps the holes open more. You can still put your nest felt in. Guys, many ways to wrap a nest bowl, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, you name it. I'm sure by the end of
Okay, so that was Ryan's attempt at, and I know, hey, that was a stellar attempt. However, if that has confused anybody, not to worry, because Phil sent us the photos and I put the written instructions, which I will post once the show is over, and then you guys can give it a whirl. don't take Ryan's demonstration for, it seems
Wait,
really
You know
wait,
what?
wait,
I'll go on for hours about this, but my question is,
Well,
why?
okay, well, this is apparently the way to keep a nest bowl clean, okay?
Okay, wait.
We've never, wait a minute, just stop. We've never done this. I don't see wild pigeons do this. And a clean nest bowl, when my birds are in condition and they're healthy, I'm not worried about sickness, disease. I don't care, nest bowl clean, dirty, blah, blah, blah. You want to know what? We're going to put this out in the loft. We're going to check it. We're going to start looking at these. I know this paper will be damp in 2 days. It'll be damp by tomorrow morning.
But you're
So
putting
wait,
the
the
nest.
fellow
Hold
must
on.
put
You
something
put the
underneath
nest.
it too.
You put the nest felt on top of that,
Right.
right? So,
Now.
so the nest felt, the same as in a plastic bowl or any other kind of bowl, is going to act as
Okay. No matter what we do, when we put the nest felt into this bowl, okay? No matter what, the paper underneath this, above this, around this, through these little holes is still going to get wet.
I don't know if it will
Well,
with the nest pad.
we're going to try it, aren't
we're
we?
gonna try it.
We're
But
gonna try it,
you
and
know
let's
what?
see.
We wanna thank Phil for taking the time to send us those photos on how he does it. And I think, Ryan, your attempt at it was
Well, you know what? I found myself for a clean nest bowl. It was, I think both ways I wrapped them. And again, if you want the holes in the bottom, find where they are with a nail and pop them in. It's fine. This one doesn't have it. Again, there's 2 ways of baking this cake. I don't know if I like either way, but we're gonna try
We're
them.
gonna try them, and thank
Yeah.
you.
You
to
know
Phil.
what?
And if
Don't
anybody
ask
else,
Ricky for his opinion.
if
You don't
anybody
get
else-
your
Because I don't
opinion.
want to be here all night long.
You'll be in a fist fight.
If anybody else has ideas, thoughts, tips, tricks on how you guys or what you guys do with nest bowls, please let us know. Send
Hey.
us a PM. We're here to share ideas and information as a community. One answer is not the right answer or the best answer, or I'm right and you're wrong. This is all about learning together as a community. Go ahead, Ryan.
And Leah, here's another thing we like. In between the rounds, I'm going to
Okay,
change this
Hold
up.
on. I'm gonna. You want me to
Go to
switch
this
camera
cam.
angles? There we
Yeah.
go. You've
Okay,
been
so
talking to
this-
it all show anyway. So
Leah,
Yeah.
I like a camera on my face so I can see myself.
okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Anyways, this is, what do we call this, Ricky?
It's styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
Insulation.
Roofing insulation.
Yeah.
Okay, take a look at the thickness on my finger.
It's about 3 inches thick.
3 inches thick. In between rounds.
2.5 inches.
So let's say the plywood is, this is the floor of the nest box.
Well, hold on a minute. I'll put both angles. There we go.
That can be round 1. Okay? And sometimes we put 2 of these on top of each other or 1. There's your round 2. When we put these up, these are great. They work good. Separate
It's
the round.
insulation,
It's
right?
insulation.
A little bit of
You
insulation.
can put your first round on it as well. It's
Now,
insulation.
is that a dirty nest bowl or a clean one?
That to me is in perfect shape. Is it perfectly clean? No. Are the stock birds dirty? Are they sick? Are they? No. It's fine by me. But again, and again, so many ways, right? So many ways.
To bake a
Bake a cake, some people think. But this styrofoam is great.
Okay, so
Pigeons, when you sit
I
on
missed-
this-
what's the deal with the styrofoam again? What
Sorry,
do we
Leah,
do-
my one camera
what
crapped
are we
out.
doing with the styrofoam? Explain to me again what that is.
I like it as an insulation. I
Where you-
like it. It's
where you
easy to
put-
get
Where you
You know-
sorry? Where are you putting it first of all?
under. I like to put them underneath the nest bowls.
In the nest box.
In the nest
Okay.
box. Again, you'll even see if you have, hold on, I'm trying to get this camera back. You will even see, because we're on the big cam there,
Okay.
and
yeah.
that's fine.
Yep.
You will even see pigeons love to stand on it. You put a piece of wood out, you stand on it. The wood's not bad. You stand on this, you're generating your own heat.
Well, this here.
This is heat. This is a free heater.
1 inch.
Well, that's
Apparently
interesting.
insulates a foot
And-
of frost.
And again, hold on.
Okay.
Macaloni, Golden Doif winner, 2019. Leah, you showed me this. You showed me this. Don't do that. His widowhood cocks are on the styrofoam blocks as little thrones. The cock stands on it. Why? It's keeping the heat. The pigeon's heat, he doesn't lose it.
And it's comfortable for them. It insulates them. It's like putting a brick down or a stone down or a piece of steel.
It's cold.
It's cold.
Stand
or
on,
wire.
stand
or
on
wire.
concrete. Hey, a
Stand.
tile floor just in your socks. After 20 minutes, your feet are bloody well cold.
That's right. Or stand on concrete in bare feet. See how you feel. Goes right
Kelly-
through your body.
Kelly has a question. What do they pick at the insulation?
no.
No.
No. Okay.
No, you know what? It's funny. You know those shows that you see where people are eating couches and stuff? What's great about a pigeon is you got more common sense.
You just need, how old is that pad there? That pad's got to be a few years old.
This is about 6 years old.
Yeah.
From 2015.
Yeah.
Frank Eichhorn says keeping the bowl of the beatbox floor will help. I put them on a grate. So
He puts them on a
he
grate to
puts
keep
up
them
on a
dry.
grate. Gotcha.
That's right. A floor grate. And again, as we say it, and we've said it 1,000 times, how to bake a chocolate cake. There's so many ways. And Chris's way or Lloyd's way or Jeff's way, everyone does it a little bit different.
Do you want to know something? Go under a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys never went under a bridge. Some people, some women. But if you see in the steel grating on the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the pigeon's been there for 50 years.
Yep.
Nest after nest after nest. And when they drop their droppings, eventually it gets kind of, they walk on it, it packs.
Mm-hmm.
There's like this much pigeon dropping, okay?
Also known as shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's standing on that dropping.
Mm-hmm.
He's not standing on the steel anymore.
No.
You get me?
Because
And
the
I'm sure when he
droppings-
went there and he said,
It's an insulation.
It's an
I'm,
insulation.
he
Uh,
got that new bridge and he's going, it's going to take me a year or two to get this developed because I got to pack this dry litter
In.
packed,
Pack her in.
and he's standing on the dry litter.
Another
Insulation.
question. A question from Owen. Is it itchy? Because most insulation is.
No.
No, it's
That's
styrofoam.
this is-
It's not
this-
fiberglass.
This isn't fiberglass. This is styrofoam. Again, it's nice.
What do you call that again?
This is well, we were in the waste business and we had a load of roofing styrofoam
We
that
always used to get.
we used to get them. So this was a 4x8 sheet and we cut them down to put them in the nest boxes. And again, we would sometimes stack it too high to keep the babies from going maybe from one nest to the other, or we just did it the way we wanted to do it. And
And that's
I
something
think
you're
it
going to
works
see
great.
throughout this breeding season. You're going to see them in there with that setup, right? So people
Yeah.
can kind of get an idea of
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about.
I mean, it's not a must. It's not a must by any take. But
It's just an idea that helps the birds feel more
Right.
comfortable, right?
right. And you know what? It's again. This is all. This is all man, right? This isn't pigeon. This is man.
Yeah,
We
that's
have,
right.
From Ian Sibbald, who I believe is a roofer.
Oh,
He says you're right, Richard. 1-inch foam is 1 foot worth batten. I just put a subfloor in the widowhood loft with 3 inches of foam and 5/8 ply on top, and what a difference it's made.
100%.
and you want to know what? When we talk about pigeon men leaving stones unturned, you can build the most beautiful loft, great ventilation, but remember, any loft with that great ventilation, if you can keep heat in that loft, keep dampness out, make it nice and warm, the condition of those birds comes up. And what Ian's talking about, that little detail of putting that insulation in,
Makes a big
that's
difference.
why I will say, I'm going to use Ian's name. When you go to race a man like that, and he beats you, and you go, well, boy, I spent more money on pigeons, and I'm feeding better feeder, or this or that or this. I don't know why I can't beat him. Because it depends on all the stones you unturned. And there's some stones that are way more important than others. And Ian, thumbs out to you.
If I can say another thing,
And then I have a
is
question.
before you become a real pigeon racer, pigeon flyer, you must become a pigeon keeper.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And something like this, what what Ian said,
Mm-hmm.
is part about keeping
Yeah.
pigeons.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Hey,
that little
hey,
bit, a little
you
bit
know-
more
you
about
know-
keeping pigeons.
Ozzie Vanderbeek,
Right.
super flyer.
Yep.
Great. His pigeons all had wooden thrones. Okay,
Right.
he had them on wood. I've been to some people's places that use bricks. You stand on a piece of brick and see how cold you get. You're constantly putting coldness in your body. Wood, I know Macaroni, he uses the styrofoam. Ian with the styrofoam. Again, can you imagine Andy Dumont from Spring Hill, Florida? I was at his place. It was 90 degrees with the humidity,
High humidity.
high humidity.
You couldn't dry a bath towel
Nope. The man had the heaters on in his loft,
on the floor.
on the floor, and the
heating pads.
pigeons were laying on the pads of the floor, Leah. They were laying like,
I
this
saw.
is great.
Meanwhile, it was 90 degrees
Yes.
humidity. And that's again about there's certain degrees on learning to be
Turning
a
those
pigeon
stones.
keeper.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I just lost my ears.
Okay, so
I think she died.
Okay, that's no problem.
1 second. Yeah, it died.
Okay.
Ryan can
Oh,
hear me though.
Sorry
right?
about that.
That's okay. Ryan, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Leah. Let's
Ready?
keep rolling on.
Okay, so
I had
Rodrigo
something
has
to say
a
there.
question, and he says, "What about the people that use wire for the box? The
Sorry
nest
about
boxes? Is that okay too?"
Died.
Okay, so
Okay, I hear you.
just
So let me finish.
Oh,
So you're taking that as one example
Okay,
of learning to be a pigeon
okay,
keeper.
we're just gonna because Leah had already started with something else when they
she,
died.
she couldn't have.
You know, she did because she can't hear you, and we just moved on. But that's okay. So you just hold back for a second. Just hold back.
Go ahead.
Wire in the nest boxes. What are they? How is it? I've been on them before. I've tried it. Fine, no problem. Droppings go through. You have a tray, it pulls out. I think if you have a whole wire nest box, I don't think that's real good. I would again would pretend this is a sheet of plywood. I'd have a little piece of plywood on there. So when the cock or the hen is on the nest, the hen or the cock can sit at the end of the box. Pigeons like to stand. Wire is not comfortable. Guys, take it yourself. Stand on a sheet of plywood or stand on metal grating. How do your feet feel? What do we call it? A little bit of common sense. Again, go back into a man like Dean Pallett. He said, I never put my pigeons on wire. I don't like wire. They can't get into super form because their feet are always bothered by it. This is what he said. He said, if I want my box that clean, do you know what it tells me? Get the scraper out, clean 2 to 3 times a day, and keep that box clean. He doesn't like wire. Hey, each to your own though. I would recommend a little block of wood in there or a throne so the pigeon feels like he can sit on the couch if he wants to.
So you want to put wire down. Why? Because you want to clean underneath it, right?
Yeah, you want the droppings to go
So
through.
put a little block of wood maybe if
Right.
that's what you want.
Little piece of
So he
ply.
can do his droppings off the block of wood.
For instance, you will see in the show cages behind Ryan and Richard, those are the show cages where we put our auction birds on display on Saturdays. In every single cage, you will see they have wooden pedestals because I personally wouldn't want to stand on wire for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours.
Throne.
And so we built that for them so they have a comfy little place if they want to rest their feet or whatever where they can go and stand on. And that's just in the showroom in our show cages.
Leah,
Yes.
I'm going to unplug my headphones, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to take you over to show you wire versus wood.
Okay.
You ready to see it?
All right, let's go. We're going to go
Wire
with this camera. Hold
versus
on.
wood.
We're going to go with Ryan. He's going to take to show us. And hopefully it doesn't. There we go. Extreme close
Hopefully
up.
it doesn't bonk out.
Hopefully it doesn't bonk out. So, all right.
Go slow.
Go slow because it's got a buffer. Okay, so these birds here that you see, they're getting ready because we're going to be doing a show with the ONE Saints on our Feathers Elite Pigeon Auction page in about 40 minutes. So we have his birds there ready to rock and roll. That camera's buffering really terribly. There we go. Now we see your face again. Okay, but anyway, I think Ryan's point was you could see they're all on the little wooden perch thingies that we made for them, and they're not standing on the wire.
That's right.
Hey, wait. Proof is in that pudding or what?
Yeah, the
It's
camera
all
wasn't
part-
great because it was buffering, but we get the gist of it.
It's one little part about being a pigeon keeper.
Right.
And if these little parts that you learned makes it better in the end.
The long one.
You know, if you read between the lines, Ozzy Vander Beeken, the fellow who went to one of his last auctions, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "Here's this nice checker hen. She's a beauty. She did this. Her background is this and that." And she said, "Oh, the brother, I don't have him anymore because I was feeding one night and I stepped on his head." So I'm not saying go and step on your birds' heads, but to learn to be a pigeon keeper, what's that telling you? When it was feed time, my birds, I know in my loft, I got to ask them when I want to walk through there, if it's feed time and I'm feeding, I want to change some water, I got to say, "Hey guys, come on, move." And I just shuffle my feet because everybody's happy to see me. They're responding and my birds are in good. So I'm just saying there's another tip on learning to be a pigeon keeper. I know guys that say...
This is the thing. Guido says, we're making it way too complicated. However, there are a lot of people out there, new people such as myself, or perhaps Owen, who's 14 years old, that might not know. And what is common sense to somebody like perhaps my father, who's been doing this his entire life, or my brother, who's been doing it his entire life, is what's common sense to Ryan, Richard, and perhaps Guido is not always common sense to people like myself or Owen or new people because they just don't know.
Hey, hold on. This show isn't for the veterans.
Well,
the veterans learn stuff great.
It's for the veterans to come and mentor those of us that need the mentorship.
That's 100%. And what I'm going to say is people like Guido, he is...
He's a pigeon man.
He's a pigeon man. He's a proven pigeon keeper. Although, maybe he might talk to me, who I've been in pigeons for ages. He may learn something a little bit from me or learn a little bit from him. But for somebody that's starting off, there's a lot to learn. So I'm just saying, you pick up on this. Some guys say, "You know what? I bought that starter feed, Versalaga starter, and they're going, I don't want to buy another bag of it. My birds won't eat the peas. They will not eat the peas. I'm throwing that out." Or guys say there's some barley in it. They won't eat that barley. I just look at them straight in the face. Even if a guy's been keeping pigeons for 60 years, say, "You don't know how to feed pigeons."
That's it.
Done.
Bottom line.
He doesn't. He doesn't know. And the guy goes to me, looks at me like I'm sideways, like my nose is on backwards. I said, "Okay, let's go downtown. Go out to McDonald's downtown, Bloor and Yonge."
Okay.
The pigeons there are eating French fries. People throw French fries out. They eat French fries. I went down to Texas. Pigeons are eating pine shelf.
I've seen pigeons eat whole peanuts that haven't been shelled.
And
Now,
those-
hold on. Leah? You
So-
got some more there.
Yeah.
I know.
So Mike Vanderyak says, and then we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because it's already almost 6:30, and we have to be on at 7 o'clock on the Feathers Leap Pigeon Auction. So Mike Vanderyak says insulation is important in the widowhood loft to limit temperature fluctuation more than heat. Heat is only needed during the race season for form, not in cold weather. What are your thoughts?
That's 100% right. He is 100% right.
Yeah.
Keep that body temperature up, or the temperature of the room up.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's 100% right.
Yeah, I think the temperature is a big thing.
But the important thing is to keep temperature up is good, but make sure that you make sure the air is good.
Yeah, you gotta have the vent.
Yeah.
Remember, you can't have it hot with no ventilation. You can hear the little ones in the background, but
Yeah, that's right. Mike's right.
they must be after a raccoon.
Or
Who
Okay.
knows?
So Mike then says loft conditions are different for breeders versus widowhood cocks.
Different than widowhood. Yeah, breeders. I'm not going in there with heat and that. They're climatized. It's different.
yeah, I agree with
Owen
that
is
as well.
asking- Owen's asking because I missed it before. He wants to know what is better, insulation, or that stuff that you showed there, Ryan, to put in the walls, floor, and roof.
So is he talking insulation like what?
He
Insulation
wants
bats?
Insulation the loft. He wants to insulate the loft.
Yeah, but
If he
he's
wants to
asking.
if he wants to insulate the loft, I guess he's asking basically what material should you use.
I would use that styrofoam that we got right there.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
You would
Yeah. Just hold on. I'll
stop
get
that.
dog
Please
out of here.
stop the dog. I can't take this.
Okay.
Whining dogs don't work for me.
Okay. This is another question, which is this is where we're at in levels of what everybody knows. Owen is asking, what is a widowhood cock?
Oh, well, there you go.
And this is why we're here, right? Like we're here to kind of list that.
Oh,
I mean, that's
A
my
widowhood
question.
cock is a pigeon, is a cock bird, a male, that is on your race team that he only flies, and what widowhood means is he flies with no hen, he flies to a hen. So you reward him when he comes home with a hen, you motivate him before a race with a hen. There's many ways to fly widowhood. Remember, many ways. Some show the hens before the race. Before the race you show a hen, and a cockbird that hasn't seen a hen in 6 weeks and he sees his hen, they say he gets turned on to come home quicker. Many ways to do the widowhood, so we could have 400 comments on what's the proper way. There's many ways to fly widowhood, as many ways of a chocolate cake.
Okay, guys, we
So
talked,
that was
we
Owen's
talked an
question.
hour about nest bowls, but believe it or not,
There's
we're gonna
4
talk
hours of widowhood.
We're going to talk widowhood. It'll be 4 hours.
So maybe what we'll do is we'll dedicate an entire show down the road to widowhood. What
Those
it
are fighting
is,
words.
how to
Those are
do it.
fighting words. Thanks, Owen. Owen, you're out.
I think before we do that, we talk maybe first about flying young birds,
Yeah.
and let's figure this out.
Or let's
And
work.
then we
We're gonna
move
work.
on.
We're gonna move on to all things flying
Okay,
widowhood
so
How
hens.
about we just start off with breeding, which is where we
Yeah.
are
Oh
supposed
yeah, there
to.
you go. Yeah.
But Owen, we like your enthusiasm again, guys. With Owen here, 14 years old. How many 14-year-old pigeon flyers do we have?
Not a lot. So
Not a
welcome
lot.
him, everybody.
Yes, that's
and
right.
please, if you guys are watching and you're on Facebook, friend request him. And be a mentor to him. Help him out. We all need help at the beginning, and that there's a 14-year-old boy who is very excited about pigeon keeping, pigeon racing, and wants to become a pigeon fancier, and let's give him a hand. And that's what we're all here to do. This has been a great show. We missed out on a lot of things we wanted to talk about. However, Ryan is here all week, and we are going to be doing quite a few shows this week, right, Ryan?
Yeah, we're gonna try and pop in 2 or 3 here this week. Again, they'll be around. I think probably the 5 o'clock time or whatever normally.
Right.
Um,
So we'll see. Check our schedule tomorrow and see. Maybe we can throw one in tomorrow. Check our Facebook page because we always post when we're going to be live next. Thank you guys so much for the enthusiasm and the comments and the questions. And it's great to see this community is growing. If you guys missed the broadcast, not to worry. You can watch a rebroadcast on Facebook, or I will upload it onto our YouTube channel, Feathersleep Pigeon Auctions, so you can watch it there. I think that's it, right? And head on over to Feathersleep Pigeon Auctions Facebook page at 7, where Ryan and I will be live with Yoanni Sinks.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be a great interview with Yoanni Saints from Texas. A lot of fun there. Super pigeon flyer again in the last 5 years, winning over $150,000 US, competing at the top level in some top races, not only in North America but worldwide. Catch us there. You're going to look at some of his top breeders.
And maybe we'll ask
auction
him
birds
if
here.
he wraps his nest bowls in newspaper. Maybe we'll ask him that.
That's a great idea. That'll be your question of the day.
So, and guys, if you have suggestions for topics on what you want to talk about in one of our shows, shoot us a PM and let us know what you guys want to talk about. I'm Leah, that's Ryan, and that's Loft Manager Richard, and we're from Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario.
We enjoyed
Thanks
it.
for flying with us.